Hey guys, a warm welcome to Wisdom from North. I'm Jannecke, and today I would like to dive into the topic of forgiveness. Huge topic, right? Let's go right into it. So when you think about the topic of forgiveness, do you think about forgiving others or do you think about forgiving yourself? Well, I think both are equally important. Now, in this video, I want to speak about the perspective of forgiving ourselves. Why is that important? Well, in my self-development work, I've been focusing a lot on self-love, and I've been working on letting go of judgments towards myself. I've been working a lot in the now, the way I speak to myself. I've been working on my self-esteem, my self-value, letting go of a lot of things that are holding me back, changing belief systems. And I've also gone back in time and talked to my younger self and making her safe and secure. But there have been something that has been holding me back. There have been some resistance towards my inner child, and resistance when I've worked with inner child work in general. Now, I go to the self-development school in Oslo. It's really beautiful. I go there every week, and my teacher is Marit Reitan, and I've been interviewing her. And many weeks ago, the topic was forgiveness. And all of a sudden, I realized that that was a topic I hadn't looked into that much. So I contemplated a lot on forgiveness after that, and I realized that actually, consciously working on forgiveness is probably the fastest way to loving ourselves. Because when we forgive ourselves, then all of a sudden the resistance towards ourselves is gone. All of a sudden, I have had the sense that I feel so much more whole because I don't judge myself for my past. And in that, I realized that there were so many judgments of my inner child that I wasn't aware of. And it was like I opened up to a deeper level within myself that I hadn't looked at. And yes, I feel like I've come so far. I feel like I love myself so much more than I used to do. But now I open up to a whole new level of loving myself. That's why I'm so eager to share this with you, because maybe this can open up a lot for you too. So why do we need to forgive ourselves, and what is there to forgive? Of course, we all have different experiences, but what I needed to forgive in myself was the beliefs I had made about myself and the choices I had made unconsciously and the ideas I had made about myself and life, which had hindered me in so much in my life. Now, Bruce Lipton, I interviewed him in 2015, and he says that from we are 0 to 6, 7 years old, our brains are vibrating on this frequency that is called alpha state. And this alpha state, we come in when we get into this alpha state when we are meditating or daydreaming or when we're hypnotized. And when we're children and we are vibrating on this alpha state all the time, we're like swamps, we're like record machines, he's saying. So everything like the adults is saying to us, and especially the ones that are closest to us, what they are saying is going right past the conscious brain and right into our subconsciousness. So when somebody's saying to us that, can't you be more like your sister, or you are so messy, and especially when they're saying you are so messy, instead of saying you created a lot of mess right now, then the child has a tendency to identify as I am messy. All right, and it can be all kinds of different examples, right? You can think about your own life, what people said to you when you were a young child. And then we can make these beliefs about ourselves that I am a messy person, or I am not pretty enough, or I'm not good enough, etc. So the perspective of yes, forgiving the adults for doing so because they did the best they could at the level they're on. But it's very interesting to look at forgiving ourselves for actually making that belief. Because we had a part in it, right? It was we who made that belief. It was our inner child that made that belief that we're not good enough. And that's something to forgive. So what we did in that class in school was that we went back, and you can try this exercise if you feel inspired to. We went back on a linear time. We closed our eyes and we asked ourselves, so what do I need to forgive? And we visualized this line that was going back into our past, and things were coming up, and we forgave, one after the other, one situation after the other, one belief after the other that we made, or something that we did. And like my teacher said, we're just scratching the surface here, because there are a lot of situations. And this, you can go as deep into this as you want. And I just want to warn you, a lot of things can come up when you start this exercise. A lot of things. A lot of grief can come up, a lot of sorrow. So just be prepared that this can start a lot, and if it does, it's really good, because you get things out of the bag that you've been dragging and holding on to. It's coming up, and that's good, because then you can let go of it. You can release things. And when we release things, we open up for so much more to come to us. Good things, because all of a sudden there is space. All right, so what we also did in that exercise, which is very important, is to look for the gift in that belief that you made at that time. Whatever you need to forgive about yourself, what is the gift that happened as well? Because there's always a gift. I believe everything that happens to us has a gift in it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. And that's my belief system, that the universe is a friendly place. So everything that happens to me, it can seem like it's something negative. But in the grander scheme of things, there's nothing negative and there's nothing positive. It's just happening. But I believe that there's a gift in everything that happens to us. So for instance, for me, when I was holding myself down as a 7 and 8-year-old girl, I got so much attention because I had all these musical roles. All the adults were saying around me, like, keep your ground on the floor, Jannecke, don't become a prima donna. I made a belief there that I needed to shrink. I needed to put myself down. I needed to be small in order not to take up too much space. And that made me go into depression in my 20s. All right, so the gift in that was that, okay, I'm sitting here now. I can share these things. I've started with Wisdom from North. I've been following my own inner voice when I came out of the depression. Like, all these beautiful things have happened because I have a story on putting myself down. Then I've been working with myself, and I've been opening up to a much greater version of me. If I've never had done that, maybe I wouldn't even have opened up to such a level of self-love that I have now. So there's a lot of gifts in me putting myself down when I was a young girl. So when you're doing this exercise, go back, see whatever pops up, and trust whatever is popping up right there and then. When you close your eyes and you ask, what do I need to forgive with myself? And you go back in time, the first thing that is popping up, go with that one, because your inner intelligence knows what is the most important for you to look at right now. But here comes the twist, because what happened to me was that I had problems with truly forgiving myself. I noticed in that exercise that I had some resistance. So I was meeting that young child. So that 7-year-old came up and I saw the gift in it, but I was also upset about her. I felt anger towards her. And I tried to forgive her, and I was like, yeah, I forgive you. But part of me was holding back and thinking, but do I really forgive you? Because you have created so much havoc in my life. Yes, I'm doing Wisdom from North and everything, but it's been really tough. Like, I've struggled a lot in my life just because you made this belief when you were young. It's been really a tough ride just because you made this belief. And I put my hand up in the class and I said this to my teacher, that I had a lot of problems forgiving her. So what can I do? I feel I tried, but I didn't feel like I really did it authentically. And then she said to me, well, what about turning this around? What about forgiving your adult self and coming to that child asking for her to forgive you? And that was a big aha for me. And you know, at that time, I realized that the resistance I've had towards my inner child, and when I've been working with my inner child, where I sometimes feel like I'm hitting a wall, like I'm not pushing really through, all of a sudden that fell into place. I understood that it was my adult self that I needed to have forgiveness for. I needed to go back to the inner children inside of me and ask for their forgiveness, to forgive my adult self. And when I did that, I was able to really embrace that inner child. Really embrace that inner child. All of a sudden, I felt so much love towards that inner child. And I have before, but there's just been something in between. It haven't been real authentic. But now, when I twisted it around and I got it, I felt so much lighter afterwards. And there's so many inner children for me that I need forgiveness from. And I'm still working on that. And why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this because I wanted to address that if an exercise is not working for us, sometimes we need to switch it the other way around. Because we're all individual beings. Different things are working for us. If that doesn't work for you, then try to turn it around. Look, maybe I need to look at this exercise from a different perspective. We need to try different angles, different things, and maybe the exercise will work for you now when you turn it around. But this has helped me a lot, and I wanted to share it, and I wanted to encourage you to look into forgiving yourself. Either forgiving your adult self for not being able to forgive your young child, or forgiving your young child for what she did, and then seeing the gifts in it. And I also want to stress that what your inner children did, there's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. So it's not a blame game, but forgiving is to release. It's to release. It's to going back to understand why she did like she did, because there's always a reason why we're doing what we're doing. And jumping to, you know, the other perspective of forgiving other people, I believe that people did things to us because they didn't know better. That everybody's actually doing their best from the level that they're at. And I know that that's a big statement, but I actually believe that to be true. The first time I heard that, I was like, yeah, I resonate with that. That everybody's doing the best that they can from the level that they're at. And when we're seeing that, it's easier to forgive. And it's also easier to forgive ourselves. And it's easier for me to forgive my adult self as well. Because I've done the best that I can from the level I'm at. But now, guys, I'm leveling it up even more when I got that. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I also want to mention that I've opened up a membership platform. And on that platform, we're walking the path together. There are different masterclasses there with the best teachers that I've been working with for 6 years, that I've been interviewing with my 400 interviews. I also have a webinar each month where we bring up different topics, we're doing different challenges, and we're doing the challenges together. I'm walking the path together with my members because I want to grow. And I know when we are doing it in a group, the energy is often amplified. So when you are getting results, I'm getting results, because that's the way I look at life, that life is a mirror. So when I have breakthroughs in the membership, I help others have breakthroughs, and when they have breakthroughs, they help me. So if you're interested in hearing more about my membership, then you can look below this video and you will find a link that you can sign up to. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and remember to shine the light that you are. Bye.